This week,
well, tell that to your
David,
guest as well.
This week, Obama said that after that, when he learned that Ayers had been a terrorist, and let's put it up on the screen, given his standing in the community, I assumed he had been rehabilitated. Does Obama think that you can ever be rehabilitated after bombing the Pentagon and the Capitol?
Chris, he has condemned those things, and that happened when he was 8 years old. And of course, you can never take those back. He condemns those acts. But let's talk about the boards that he was on.
I'm
those
asking
boards.
You, though, but can he be
no, because this is important, Chris. This is. He said at the time he thought he was rehabilitated. But let's go forward here and talk about these boards that Rick and the commercials are talking about. Who was on these boards? The publisher of the Chicago Tribune, right? A newspaper that hasn't endorsed a Democrat in 150 years. Is he consorting with terrorists? The head of the largest business group in Chicago.
David, I don't think any of these people are running for president of the United States. And I don't think anybody in this group has actually misled the public about what their relationship was.
No, but it's very important because these were boards that Obama served on in order to promote education reform in this city.
That's right. He made an informed judgment that he was going to develop a relationship with William Ayers. And then he spent the next 5 years trying to obfuscate the relationship that he had with him.
He's not obfuscating anything,
Sure he did.
Rick.
The first time he was asked about Bill Ayers, he said it was just somebody from my neighborhood. Denied that he actually attended one of his first political events in William Ayers' home.
All right, but Rick, let me follow up on this. Obama, excuse me, gentlemen, Obama asked a pretty good question this week, and I want you to take a look at it.
I am surprised that, we've been seeing some pretty over-the-top attacks coming out of the McCain campaign over the last several days, that he wasn't willing to say it to my face.
You obviously have no problems confronting David Axelrod about William Ayers. Will John McCain confront Barack Obama about his relationship with William Ayers and explain why it's relevant at the debate on Wednesday?
Oh, I don't know what's going to happen at the debate on Wednesday, and it depends upon the kinds of questions that the moderator asks. I didn't notice that the moderator asked any questions about Bill Ayers. I don't notice that the press asked any questions to Barack Obama about Bill Ayers. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I think it's a germane topic in this debate, because the press is basically given a free pass to Barack Obama so that none of his background gets challenged. And so whether it's his relationship with Bill Ayers, his relationship with Tony Rezko, his relationship with the Acorn Group, which is under investigation right now, and many other things, if you would just come clean in the Obama campaign and actually tell the public what's been going on in Obama's life, look, there are legitimate questions about his experience and his background that deserve public scrutiny, and I think it's germane to the outcome of this election.
Chris, the fact is, I think there's been more written about Bill Ayers in recent days than any unknown public figure ever. The fact is, Barack Obama's been scrutinized for 20 months, and I think what frustrates Rick is the American people are getting a clear picture of who these two candidates are, and they're making a judgment, and they're moving in Obama's direction because he's a guy who's actually addressing their concerns about the economy, about the future, and Rick Davis and his campaign have made a judgment that they can't compete on that, and so they want to.
Well, that's not true, David. I mean, the reason everybody's talking about Bill Ayers is your campaign and your candidate keeps changing the story on what the relationship is. That's what makes it news.
Every single charge that you've thrown out has been debunked by factcheck.org.
All right, gentlemen,
and the news media have examined all of them.
Gentlemen, enough about Bill Ayers. We're going to move on to something else.
You continue to repeat it.
David, an investigation by the Alaska legislature has found that Governor Palin abused the powers of her office by pressuring subordinate officials in the Alaska government to try to fire her brother-in-law, who was a state trooper. Does Senator Obama believe that has any relevance to Palin's fitness to be vice president?
Well, voters are going to decide that, Chris. And one thing that is clear is that we've had examples of abuse of power in Washington over the last 8 years that are concerning to people. And we want them. And certainly, if we're going to move this country forward and reform this government, then we certainly don't want more of that philosophy in government. But that's up to voters to decide and to judge the facts of this case.
Rick, the report said that Palin was within her rights to get rid of the public safety commissioner, but it also said that she violated the State Ethics Act by pressuring state employees to try to fire her brother-in-law, and this was approved unanimously by a bipartisan legislative council.
Yeah, let me tell you, this whole thing has been a kangaroo court from day one. The person who was heading the investigation into this is one of Barack Obama's biggest supporters. This was going nowhere until the point at which Sarah Palin was asked to join our ticket, and at which point it became a big public circus. And frankly, everyone in Alaska has treated it as such. The reality is there was absolutely no wrongdoing found in the report. 1,000 pages, an enormous waste of time, and the best that they could come up with was no violations of any kind of laws or ethics rules. But
she violated the state ethics board.
But that she acted within her power and scope of authority as governor to do exactly what she did. And so the bottom line is this thing now drops dead, and there's absolutely no follow-up to this at all. So, you know, it was a great public circus. Look, David, I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking.
I think you both interrupted each other.
Actually, you did. You did it repeatedly.
So the bottom line is David actually has a very good point. He says, you know, what we need to do is root out corruption. You know, John McCain is the only candidate for president right now who's actually done anything about rooting out corruption in Washington. And do we really believe that the American public is going to feel safe by having both the head of the Congress and the head of the White House from the same party that's had so many challenges with the way they've run Washington over the last couple of years? So, honestly, I really believe that is a germane. This may be one of the things that David Axelrod and I can leave the show actually agreeing on. I think it's a major issue as to who's got the track record and experience to root out corruption in Washington, and that's only one guy on this campaign, and that's John McCain.
All right, David, you get the last word, and talk, if you will, about this argument that, you know, if you elect Obama and you have a strong Democratic majority in both the House and the Senate, you're giving total control of the government to the Democrats.
Look, I think the way you root out corruption in Washington is first take on the lobbyist culture. And, you know, what we can't have are lobbyists making millions of dollars selling access to public officials, as Rick has done, selling access to Senator McCain.
Well, David, what do you think you've been doing in your organization?
That is not how you clean up corruption
saying
in Washington.
You thought that the patronage politics of Chicago was a better model for Washington than the law and order model that we currently occupy.
I think everybody ought to read that as everything else that you said here. That is not what I said. Rick, why don't you answer the question about whether you sell access to Senator McCain? That's been reported in the newspaper. Is that false?
Well, I think that's the point.
That you sell access to Senator McCain
in the newspapers.
No,
I think it'd be
answer the question.
Reading.
Do you sell access to Senator McCain?
No, I don't.
Is that how you've made millions of dollars? You've never done that. Nobody has ever been told that they ought to hire you if they want to get to Senator McCain. I'm asking you.
Character assassination has become the hallmark of the Obama campaign. This is the kind of thing that he just railed against when he first got on. And now
anybody who watches this show knows otherwise.
Attack.
Gentlemen, we're going to have to end it there, and I'm glad to say that we settled all that.
David, it's nice to see you on TV.
Right. Wow. Thank you both for talking with us. See you both at Wednesday's debate. Stay in opposite corners and break clean on the clinches. Up next.